Hello there, this is binaryoptions.com, and under the series on how to trade a specific currency pair, we are going to discuss the euro and the Japanese yen today, or with this project under our Binary Options Academy. So let's say here that we are discussing the euro and the Japanese yen. And this euro and Japanese yen pair is, first of all, a cross. So it is moving out of or based on the economic differences from Euro or Eurozone and the economic differences out of Japan. The economic releases out of Japan. Like this. Let's take the Fed and the S&P that was related with the US dollar Swiss franc. And again, this is important as the euro and the Japanese yen is nothing but a cross. What does it mean that it's a cross? It means that it is traveling normally, not that much like a major, and it does not have the US dollar in its components. So we are talking about the central bank of Eurozone, basically the European Central Bank, ECB, and Bank of Japan, or the BOJ, Bank of Japan. Needless to say that these two currencies are extremely volatile and were extremely volatile lately in last years. First of all, because of Bank of Japan embarking into a tremendous quantitative easing program. I am talking about a Bank of Japan that is buying JGBs or Japanese government bonds at a pace that is unprecedented as in size, in nature, in measure. Imagine that the QE or quantitative easing program in Japan is basically 3 times or 2 times than the one that has ran in the United States, but is applied on a 3 times lower economy. So you can imagine the dynamics there. So Bank of Japan and the ECB. The ECB now is engaged into bond buying as well. It is buying 60 billion on a monthly basis, and the ECB is meeting every 6 weeks starting with this year. On previous years, the ECB met on a monthly basis. So every 6 weeks the ECB is meeting. Bank of Japan, as far as I know, is meeting on a monthly basis. For any central bank, it is important to look at the press conference to follow, like the press conference that follows in Europe, press conference, as most of the times it is being used for a better explanation of the monetary policy conditions that have been explained or have been transmitted in the actual interest rate decision. Sometimes the actual interest rate decision is being followed by statement like more details will be presented at the press conference or later in the press conference, or additional steps will be presented later in the press conference. So that is extremely important. In Bank of Japan, we also have a lot of speeches that Bank of Japan members are holding, so speeches, and everyone wants to know when and if the quantitative easing program is ending. If it's not ending, then how long it is still running. If it's not going to be extended, then why, and so on. And this influences trading. Each and every central bank acts based on inflation expectations or CPI or consumer price index. It is exactly the same. So what you need to do is to go on the economic calendar and look under these red events for the CPI. Take a look here. We have the next day we're going to have the CPI or inflation in UK. Now you go and look at where it is in Europe, and this is in the United States, but in Europe, when it is in Europe, and then trying to take a look here, final CPI year over year in Europe, and the same in Japan, and then you compare first of all with the forecasted value and then with the actual value. If the actual is way higher than the forecasted, now that is being viewed as positive for the currency. Why? Because the expectations that the central bank is going to come and hike the rates or talk bullish at the next press conference are really, really high. Stay tuned for the next part in order to find out what to look when trading euro in Japan.